I'm in Shenandoah National Park, and this is the Piney River parking area. There's a bunch of trails up here. This is the parking area right here. That's the old Piney River Technical Building. It's up in the air whether that's going to end up being saved or not. Out there is Skyline Drive. Down that way is the trailhead, which we're going to be going to here in a second. And there it is in all its radiant beauty. Gray Ghost. Going to close that up, and we're going to head down here and get on the trails. I'm going to be exploring a tract of land that belonged to a Dr. J.T. Kelly. And see if I can find an old homestead. The elevation here is 3,060 feet. Well, I don't know why they put that map there like that. That map's upside down. Look where north is. Pointing straight down practically. Anyway, this is the Piney Branch Trail. We're gonna head down this way, and it's only about 1/10 of a mile or so before I'm gonna start looking for the first old road trace. Let's see if we can find it. Two-tenths of a mile into my hike, I'm down to 3,000 feet, and this is the intersection with the Appalachian Trail. That's the AT heading northbound. There's the Piney Branch Trail coming down from the parking lot. That's where I came from. Here's the Appalachian Trail heading southbound. And we're going to continue to descend on this Piney Branch Trail, and real soon I'm going to start looking for an old road trace off to the left. Three-tenths of a mile into my hike. I'm down to 2975. Up there's the intersection with the Appalachian Trail, and I'm within about 20 feet of what I was seeing on the LiDAR, and look at that. It's a benchmark. This is the road right here, heading up towards the north. This is the road, and that benchmark has to be there because this is where the road was. This is the intersection of the road with the trail, and so they sank a benchmark there. It's very hard to see, but that's the high side of the road. It's dug out. Right down in through there is level, and then it drops off. And then over here, the reason those two steps are there is because that's the edge of the road, and then it heads on, continues on, looks like to the south this way. So that is really badly overgrown, so I'm not gonna attempt to bushwhack any of that. But when I do the map talk, I'll show you this road traverses a lot of this property. This is 1,500 acre tract of land, and this road runs north and south. So now I'm going to continue on down to my jumping off point to try and bushwhack to the homestead site. If the rest of the property's overgrown this bad, I might might not be able to bushwhack it. But let's get down here and see. Maybe it'll clear out a little bit down this way. Seven-tenths of a mile into my hike, I'm down to 2830 elevation. That's where I came from, and I'm at a sharp bend to the right, which is where the old road going to the homestead, I think, connected in here. I think that's it right there. I'll step in a minute and give you a better look. This is a bend to the right, sharp bend to the right. And I thought I was seeing, let me step back in here. I thought I was seeing on LiDAR the faintest trace of a road. And that looks like it might be it. So I'm going to follow this in for a ways. Unfortunately, well, that doesn't look too overgrown, so if it's not that bad, I'll just follow this in until I get to where I think the homestead was. Kind of a guessing game though, but this did show up on LiDAR, but just barely. So let's head up this way and see what we can find. This is definitely a road or a driveway, take your pick. Here's the low side of the road. See, armored up with rocks. Here's the level part of the road, and then over here's where they cut into the mountain. This side of the road. Rocks, etc. Heading on up here. Looking kind of nasty up this way, but I'm going to keep following it and see if I can get up to where I think the homesteads were. I'm going to record this GPS location because it looks like there's a fork in the road right here. Maybe. That's straight ahead, and then this one heads off. Looks like it heads off to the left. Okay, so I'm not sure which way to go. I guess I'm going to go straight ahead, but I'm going to keep my eye on that left side and see what that's doing. .1 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 2,800 feet. I came from that general direction down up over the ridge line there, and then down here I'm within about 50 feet of where I thought maybe the homestead would be. I don't see anything around here. The only thing is, I mean, that there is that feeder stream there, that little creek, headwaters for Piney River right there. I'll do a 360 heading down that way. But this is pretty steep terrain here. See that? And then it gets even steeper up there. Up there's the ridge. I think what I was seeing on LiDAR was probably that ridge line right there. And then it wraps all the way around over that way. So maybe that's what I was seeing on the LiDAR, and I was thinking, well, maybe this is maybe this is it. When I do the map talk, I'll explain how I came up with these locations. But I don't see anything here. Now, I have one other spot that I wanted to look at, but man, I don't know. I'll have to call it up and see how tough the hiking is. Coming here was really nasty. You'll see on my GPS track, I eventually had to get off the road. It was just too thorny and just everywhere. Nasty stuff. So I don't see anything in this area here. I'm gonna go, if I can get over to the other area, I'll take a look and see what I can find over there. .2 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 2850. I think this is the Homestead location. I think I found it. I want to do a few comparisons when I get home. What I thought was over this way, what I thought was a feeder creek is starting to look like it was the road, and over the last 100 years, sloping downhill down that way, it turned itself into another drainage. That's where I came from. I'm up on higher ground now, and I'll get some other shots of this, but look at that. Look at this. That's a stone wall right there, and I'm within 40 feet of my guess, second location. First location guess was wrong, but this one looks like the right location. So I'm gonna get some other pictures. Here's part of the wall right there, and there's part of it right there, and then behind the wall where I'm standing is kind of terraced off in through here. See this? I don't see any bricks or rock piles or anything, but there's a rock wall right there. So I mean, it's within 40 feet of where I thought the house might be, so what else? Where else would the house be but here? So let me look around and get a few pictures. I'll refine my GPS location a little bit, and then I got to try and figure out the easiest way out of here. Note to myself, I repositioned waypoint Kelly 2 to where I'm standing here next to this rock wall. Yeah, look how cleared out this is. I think the road is over there. I'll check that out in a minute. We got this open area here in the middle of the wilderness. And then over there, maybe you can see part of it is that wall. I think that's there to provide some terracing, because this land here has a slope to it. Now it looks like it's open there, and then back over that way is the road, hopefully heading out of here. Too bad there's no daffodils. Here's a section of the wall. I'm standing slightly below it. So The part on the other side is the part that's terraced off. Heading on down that way. And then this is up on higher ground. That's looking down into the valley where the headwaters of Piney River are. We got high winds up here today. And back around. So I'm going to investigate a little further, and then I'm going to look for the easiest way out of here. Which is probably not going to be following the road. So the wall is over there, and then here the open area is here, terraced off area, and then yeah, this is the road. Here's the left side of the, here's the low side of the road, armored up. Here's the you know, dished out part, heading back in the right direction. And over here is the right hand side, or yeah, on the right is the high side of the road, armored up. So it looks like this road came in here and made kind of a sweeping turn that way around the property and then down that hill. And once it starts going down that hill, it's heavily eroded, and it just looks like a creek at this point. So yeah, this is the way out. .6 miles into my hike. I finally found my way out of the wilderness, back onto the Piney River Trail. My initial jumping off point was down that way, just a little, about 200 feet actually, according to my GPS. I came out of the wilderness over in this direction. I got up on a little bit higher ground because it looked like it was easier, not so much thorny stuff. So now we just follow this back up to my car. If I see something interesting, I'll get some shots of it. Two miles into my hike, I'm back up to 3,000 feet now, and I'm back to the old road that I pointed out on the way down. I forgot to take a picture, a still picture of that benchmark, so I'm going to take a picture of that. This is a map of today's hike. It's two quadrangle maps pasted together. The top part is Bentonville, 1994, and the bottom part is Thornton Gap, 1994. And the purpose of the hike was to look for the homestead location for this tract of land here belonged to J.T. Kelly as tract number 59. It was a large tract of land, 1,519 acres. This is Skyline Drive, And you come down here, right here's the entrance to the Matthews Arm campground here. It's currently closed for the winter. Anyway, right here, this area here is a Piney River Ranger Station. There's some parking right here. And then just on the north side of that, this drive-in is the Piney River Technical Building. I got pictures of that at the end. It's an old rundown building that's still standing from the 1930s. Anyway, you get out and walk down here towards Skyline Drive, and you'll see the trailhead here. Come on down here. Now, when I got down to, well, there's the Appalachian Trail. Here's where you cross the Appalachian Trail. Continue on down. When I got to here, I started looking for the trace of an old road and found it here. It goes both ways, and on the east side of the trail, there's a benchmark sunk into the ground there. So I got some pictures of that. And then this road runs on up. There's another point on the road. Here's another point on the road. Anyway, this road runs all the way up to the headwaters of Piney River, way up here. This road does not go to the Homestead though. To continue on the Piney River Trail to here, when you get to this sharp bend in the road, this is where I saw a trace on LiDAR that looked like it went to the Homestead. So I followed this, I bushwhacked this on up, and this is some pretty nasty bushwhacking, by the way, really thorny. I bushwhacked up to this location here, which is where I thought the Homestead might be, but it's not there. So then I went to an alternate location that I saw that I thought, well, it might be at this alternate location. So I climbed up the hill to here and found the Homestead location here. There's a cleared out area. It's kind of terraced off. It's up on high ground. And there's a fairly substantial rock wall there. Looks to me like they used it on the low side to terrace off the area. Got some pictures of that stuff. I didn't want to go back the way I came, so I started bushwhacking down like this. Eventually ran into the old road and then back to Piney River Trail and then back to my car. Now let me show you a couple more maps here since this is the map talk. I think in my video I said I would explain where I came up with these locations. This is a fairly typical example of a map that they drew back in the 1930s. When they took people's land, they had to go out and survey it to find out how many acres it was and so forth. And this is a map that's drawn to scale showing the outline of the property. There was two houses on the property. This is one of them right there. That's the one that I went to. And then these are headwaters of the Piney River, and then all the way over here to the east is the second Homestead location. I haven't looked for that one yet. So now let me just point out the boundary of this lot has this really unusual shape to it there. If you take this and superimpose it on the online Shenandoah records, here's that unusual shape right there. So if you take that map I just showed you and superimpose it on this one, you'll come up with an area right up in here. for the location. And then you can take the online tool and you can get coordinates for that. It would still be pretty hard to find, but then I thought I'd show you this. This is a LiDAR image from an online program called CalTopo. Now I realize this is a printout of a screenshot, so it's not very good. Plus, when I put these black lines in here, I kind of covered up some of what you can see. But anyway, right in here, this is close to the location where I thought the house would be, and there's a faint outline here of like a rectangular area. So I thought that would be the location. This is the trace of the road coming up. I followed that up to here, and then there was looked like there was a fork in the road. So I kept going straight like this up to this area. Well, when I got up here, I realized that there's no way they would build a house here. It's too slopey. The land's too slopey. It's very rocky. Right back here, this little bump here is a huge ridge up here. So this was not the area. This was my alternate location. Now, on a good computer screen, you can see the faint outline of the road coming up like this. And then there was this kind of this oval-shaped area. So I hiked up to here, and sure enough, right about where I drew this slanted line, that's where the wall was. I put a little check mark here. This was the location. So the road looks like it came off the trail here, came on up, and actually went to the left like this, and up to the house. And then over here is the trace of that first road that I showed you that goes all the way up to the headwaters. That's off to the west. This was a short hike, 2.3 miles, a total ascent of 400 feet. And that was the hike for today.